it's a balance, and not only with kids, but you have to do that in life to be a healthy individual. You have to have time to work out, to eat healthy, just to be, of sound mind, to have that mental break, to read a book, to play sports, to do all these other things that you want to do.
Talking about time management, this is interesting. So I think that's something that probably not every parent, not every father, not every dad, every parent struggles with, right? Is how do you manage your career and your kids? Moms will spend a lot of time talking about this, right? And dads have the same struggles. A societal expectation that the father's going to be working a lot and maybe be a little bit absent, right? And I don't know about you guys, I don't like that. I don't like being absent from my kids, right? I make a sort of effort to try and be around them in the mornings and in the evenings as much as possible. I don't like feeling like I'm not a part of their life, right? So, the time management is hard.
It's a lot more common that we have a couple we're both working professionals. They have young kids. So you're in that situation. My wife works. Your wife works, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your wife works.
She's not my wife.
Sorry.
Might as well be. But
okay, but and the way that we take an approach to that, because I travel quite often for work. So when I'm at home, I just prioritize my family into my workday. I don't just focus on my career, even though that's sort of what a lot of people want to do or attenuate their high income earning years. Having a child or children, it refocuses what's important in life, and taking time out of the day to take them to school, talk to them on the way to school, engage with them. At a set time, I go and I pick up Catherine. I do that every day that I'm there. On the odd exception, my wife will take her to school or pick her up when she has time or she wants to. But I just set my schedule. I'll take her when I'm there, and when I'm not there, then she picks up the slack and does that, and she makes the time for her. And it's a balance, and not only with kids, but you have to do that in life to be a healthy individual. You have to have time to work out, to eat healthy, just to be, of sound mind, to have that mental break, to read a book, to play sports, to do all these other things that you want to do and have that balanced lifestyle.
And that's a good point, the balance. And I think then perhaps, talking about the big change and, why we're focusing this on dads is because the variable changes, right? Because kids are very much a variable. It's not a constant. You can't look at it and say, well, I know what my kid's going to want today. This is the schedule. They get this time to this time. I mean, they're going to be in bed by 7:30, and I have a 7:35. I'm hitting the books, or I'm hitting the gym, or I'm hitting whatever it is I want to hit, right? Yeah. And so it's a massive variable that I think screws a lot of people up. Prioritizing very, very important, absolutely, but the variability of children and life around it makes things very difficult, right? If you have a high demanding career, I think
it's interesting, like different types of high demand careers and the types of schedules. Like if you might be gone for X days a week, but you have 4 days, and you're going to have those 4 days. Yeah. Right. And I think you work out of your office or your home. Yeah. So you kind of create your own schedule. Yeah. And I don't know. I feel I have to be connected, 7 days a week. Right. I think you might feel the same, Daryl. I mean, you're answering texts this evening, and you're almost 24 hours a day, right? It's how do you? It's like sometimes you can shut things off. Some people or in some positions you just feel like you can't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. It's a 24-hour job. Like I have guys at work now, and if something does happen, then I'm required to answer the phone, right? I'm not, as long as I can deal with it on the phone, it's not like I got to be there by any means, but it does get complicated with the balance, like you said, and the planning, and a lot of the time it's reactionary. Like, we got a free night, let's go take the boys skating, or let's go swimming.
Sure, just like, okay, I got a window.
You got to take advantage of those, right?
It's coming into the fall. Derek just started hockey, and he's just doing rec hockey, and it's 2 nights a week. And then his lacrosse starts in October, and it's 2 nights a week. And Jacob's lacrosse starts in potentially, I think it's November or December, and it's 2 nights or actually I think it's just Sunday. But it's like the scheduled part is those two, and then Anna and we just kind of
You still gotta work everything
react.
around.
I mean, quite frankly, I was late today. I mean, I had a bit of a bear of a day at work, but it's gonna be raining tomorrow, and then it's winter here.
Right.
I had to cut the lawn. Like,
We live in
Home.
Canada, in case you're watching. It's September and it's going to be snowing. So tomorrow.
but, you know, it's just stuff like that. I mean, it took me 10 minutes, but still, it was something that had to get done because the next potentially 6 months we're going to be covered in snow, right?
So it's interesting because you guys are both, and as am I. I've got a weird schedule, but I mean, you are beholden to your clients. You're a stay-at-home dad, but you also have your plumbing business, right?
Yeah, I mean, it becomes a challenge sometimes. I mean, I definitely get busy running my own company, trying to deal with the kids during the day, which is my primary focus. The company was the second, basically to kind of help with the household. But I mean, the last 5 years, I've had to do 99% of my work evenings and weekends. And if I happen to get busy and take on a bigger project than, a quick service or something along that lines, I mean, I've gone weeks with my wife, like we're two ships passing the night. I mean, she's home at 4:30 and I'm like, love you, kiss, here's the kids. I've started dinner, best of luck. I'll be home hopefully 9-10 o'clock tonight and back, and do that for a couple of weeks, and you almost feel like at the end of the day you're I've had the valuable time with my children, which is great, but I haven't had any of that time with my wife. I mean, we're coming. She with her job, she gets up early, so she's up at like 5 a.m. So she's getting ready to deal with it. I mean, I come home at 10 o'clock and I'm not up that early. I'm tired, and then I start my day with the kids and deal with housework and all that stuff. I mean, now I'm lucky enough. Both girls moved into my oldest is a grade 3 and the youngest now in grade 1. So it's basically full-time school. They stay for lunch. So I've transitioned that work to the day, which has been great for the relationship now. I mean, we're home together. It almost feels like a family, right? I'm home in the day, evenings with them. We're making dinner. I think I texted you guys like a couple weeks ago. I'm like, look, I'm having a beer after work, right? I mean, I could never do that for the last 5 years because most of the time I was headed to work at that. So there's the sacrifices you make, and if you have a good relationship, I mean, without my wife, I mean, it would be difficult because she would pick up the slack when I had to work lots, and then she would help with the laundry or the household duties, right, which are there. I don't think they're solely should be put onto the person who's left at home caring for the house. I mean, it is our house.
It's interesting because some of us are very. I mean, I'm lucky or either strategic. I'm not quite sure if I'm smart or not. But I mean, with
For sure.
let's
Carry on.
debate amongst yourselves. But I mean, because I've set my I don't work for anybody full time. I've got clients, right? And then even the business that I start up, I'm involved in on a contract basis, right? And so I make it very clear that I like having breakfast with my daughters. I like being home with them for supper time. For me, that's important, right? Yeah. And and I'm very lucky because Melissa is very easygoing, and so I'm able to do a couple days a week. I'm able to do my activities, right? And she's very good, but she's also a nurse, and she works part time. She works evening shift work sometimes, and and days sometimes. So there are some complications. So sometimes I feel like I'm a stay-at-home dad or a single dad because I look after the kids on my own, and then some days it's no problem at all. So it's a bit of a mixture, but on the whole, I'm very lucky because I don't have a schedule. I can set it so that I'm able to be there for my daughters right now where I still can, where I still actually want to be around their old man. I hear stories from you and from you guys saying that you get to a certain age and the kids are like, whatever old man, go away, right? So, but I look at you and like, you don't, you have a schedule. Like you have to be at the airport by a certain time. There's no flexibility there, right?
No,
so,
and then there's good and bad in that too, right? The family knows my schedule ahead of time, right? I mean, and it's for the most part it's set in stone. So
Kids are old enough to get along.
A month ahead of time, they know that these days Dad's gone, and then these next 4 days Dad's home. I mean, I'm in a unique situation, and I think I I get the best of this deal. I think being divorced, I mean, you got to share your time with your kids, with your ex, and for me, I get to have the fun part of the job. I think for me, I get to have the kids when I'm off. My ex, she has to go to work, put the kids to school, go to work, come home, give them dinner, put them to bed.
Her schedule's
You know,
she's
make sure
her
they've done their
schedule's based on
homework
your
and-
schedule.
Yeah. So I mean, hey, my situation is great. I mean, I get to devote all of my time with the kids. I mean, when we're home and we can go and do things. We in the wintertime we can go skiing and get out of town and just spend some quality time with the kids. And I think for me, it's just going to pay off in gold for me that I've been able to spend so much time with them.
So I want to put a plug in right now for the wives out there, because we talk about stresses of work, schedules of work, the kids, they need this, they need that. The wife is I don't want to say she's at the bottom of the list. She's at the top of our list, but she's the most forgiving in all of these scenarios.
Not in everybody's life though, right?
Well,
I mean,
maybe not in everybody's life.
you're very lucky, Terry, right? And I mean, we could. I'm not sure this is a conversation we want to get into today. This is one of these things where the strength of the relationship definitely changes the ability of the dad to be. You can call it happy. I'm not sure anybody's ever happy. You can have the conversation, right? But you can talk about the ability of the dad to fulfill their meaning in life, let's say, right?
Well,
And I mean,
yeah.
I think that if you go around the room here, the patio, everybody has different relationship, statuses and issues, and I think that, if you guys want to talk about that, it's very interesting,
Well, yeah,
and the
we have to
impact on
start.
life.
I'll say, my case, potentially you're right. So, my wife and I, we started on a little tougher path, taking a teenager into our home right when we were supposed to be, when we were engaged. That's when Taylor came in. We had a tough first couple of years.
It's supposed to be in your honeymoon stage.
It's supposed to be your honeymoon. I hear that all the time. This is supposed to be the happiest time of our life.
And to
right?
understand that Taylor, who is your first daughter from when you were 20 years old, and she was how old at this time?
Oh, she was 15.
She was 15.
14, 15. Kendra went from her best friend to her mom, right? And so we worked through a lot of that stuff. And I think maybe just to, with a plug I wanted to put in is that with all of these different things, like your clients, your work people, when they call you, they hit the top of your list. When your kids want something to eat, they hit the top of your list, right? And taking time with your partner, I think most people think, I'll have to get to that tomorrow, right? I have to do this right now. I'll have to get to that tomorrow. And, like in our case, we try to schedule date nights and stuff like that. But my only point is that we don't mean to forget about our wives. It's just they're adults too, so it's hard to. What's the word I'm looking for here? Know what they're thinking.
Well, and you
That's a safe answer.
Until they tell you exactly what they're thinking.
Wow, by then it's fine, and you're already in the house.
You know what, Terry?
You're toast.
Talking about time management, and that's what I was kind of saying, is the kids and the job. You guys stay off my lawn. Thanks for watching. Click the subscribe, click the like button, tell all of your friends. Thanks, everybody.